that are here. It's time to catch up on the latest escapades of the Rogue River Indians. So after the massacre of 1855, they came downriver and they were chased all the way down here, where in November of 1855, the army caught up with them. Now keep in mind, this is not an army. It's like 20% army and 80% miners, homesteaders, and vigilantes who are after the Indians. So they caught up with them down here in November of 1855. And try to imagine yourself being in that fighting force on this right bank behind you, trying to get a mule or a horse and all kinds of supplies and bullets, and they even had cannons trying to take them down through this country. Well, they got down here, they found Chief John and his tribe, and they fired a few shots, and that was it. They went home for the winter. So they came back the next spring, and that was when they crossed up at Whiskey Creek and came down a little farther. Anyway, back at Black Bar, you guys all see the drift boat back there? That's Black Bar Lodge, where we normally would stay. And that was a mining claim owned by a guy named William Black. He was friends with a guy downriver by the name of Dutch Henry. Now, Dutch Henry's real name was Henry Rosenbrook. But he got the name Dutch Henry when he emigrated to the U.S. He came to Ellis Island. He was asked what nationality, where he came from, and he replied Deutsch, meaning German. Well, they switched that to Dutch, and he was known as Dutch Henry. Cantankerous old guy. The people that lived down here would threaten to send their kids to see Dutch Henry when they misbehaved. So one day, Dutch Henry's common law Indian wife and William Black disappeared out of the canyon together. A week later, Dutch Henry's wife was back with him, and William Black's body was found with a knife hole in the skull. So they came in and arrested Dutch Henry, took him to trial, and as the final piece of physical evidence that it really was William Black that he had killed, they brought in William Black's head in a bottle, complete with a knife wound in the skull. While the judge and jury refused to look at it, Dutch Henry was acquitted, came back down to the river, and lived out his days down here. And that happened in like the late 1880s. So even as late as World War II, or even as late as the mid-60s, there were all kinds of people like that down here. I mean, you could come down here and not be bothered by anybody, be isolated, and just live down here untroubled. A lot of miners, escaped prisoners, homeless people, just general misfits from society would live down here. And most of the lead guides for the company that are working today were descended from those people.